Education Program with the Community Action Partnership of Lancaster. Our program is funded by Pennsylvania SNAP Ed.
And today we are going to talk a little bit about something called sodium. And sodium is a mineral that is found in salt. We all need a little bit of sodium to stay healthy, but eating too much sodium can cause something called hypertension or high blood pressure. Having high blood pressure puts you at risk for developing a stroke or even a heart attack. So today we're going to talk about ways to reduce your sodium and overall salt intake. And in general, adults and children over 14 should stay under 2,300 milligrams of salt per day. So we just mentioned that adults and children over 14 years of age should stay under 2,300 milligrams of sodium a day, which is about a half teaspoon of salt. So in these little containers, we have some salt measured out. So this is a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and this is the maximum amount of salt that your body needs in a day to stay healthy. In this one, this is 1 teaspoon of salt. It's not recommended to eat any more of this in a day, so that is a good amount, as you can see. And then right here in this tube, this is 2.5 teaspoons of salt. And this is the average American intake of salt in a day. So most people consume this much salt in a day, which is a lot.
So when you're buying canned foods, you want to look for foods that say reduced sodium, low sodium, or no salt added. For instance, if you're buying soup, you would want a low sodium soup, or you could do homemade soup. You can see by the vial here that chicken noodle soup, or any kind of canned soup is gonna have a lot of sodium in it. So you can reduce that intake by buying low sodium or homemade soups. As well as beans or canned vegetables, you wanna rinse those really well or buy no salt added. We also wanna think about processed meats, such as deli meats or hot dogs. Processed meats are things like ham is processed, it has a lot of salt. This is how much salt is in 3 ounces of ham versus how much salt is in 3 ounces of a pork chop, which is less processed. We also want to think about condiments like salad dressing, ketchup, mustard. They have a lot of salt sometimes. So our processed hot dog here also has a tablespoon of ketchup, teaspoon of mustard. We've got some baked beans and some chips, which results in a large amount of sodium. So be careful with those condiments.
Okay, so our first spice we're gonna talk about is cinnamon. Most of you may have had cinnamon before, maybe in cinnamon bread or cinnamon rolls, but cinnamon is a great spice that you can actually replace both salt and sugar with. And like I said, cinnamon is found in cereal, oatmeals, bread. You can add it to fruit, either raw apples or cooked apples, maybe like in an apple pie, or you can add it to your coffee and desserts.
I've even added cinnamon to my chili. It gives it a very unique flavor, especially if you have bell peppers in your chili. You get almost a little sweet undertones. The next spice we'd like to talk about is onion powder and garlic powder. It's cheaper to just open your cabinet and grab your dried onion powder or your dried garlic powder than buying a whole onion or maybe a head of garlic. And you can put it on just about anything. Meats, fish, vegetables, eggs, pasta, rice, soups, stir fries, pizza, you name it. And it also, as we're talking about, can help you put a little less salt on.
The next spice or seasoning I'm gonna talk about is cumin. So cumin is this brown powder. It's really good flavor. It's not spicy, but it does have a very strong flavor. You may have tasted cumin in taco meat before. Usually when you buy pre-made taco seasoning, there's a lot of cumin in it. You can put it on meats, poultry, taco filling like I mentioned, and you can also make dips with it. You can add it to salsa and hummus as well.
Paprika is a very visually appealing spice. It's good for color. It tastes sweet and warm and not too spicy. Paprika is good when added to meats, fish, poultry, rice, or pasta.
The next spice we're gonna talk about is ginger, and ginger is actually from a root. Ginger is found in a lot of Asian recipes. It has a really unique flavor. It's almost warm and earthy tasting. You only need a little bit to flavor whatever food you're making. It's also cheaper to buy ground up ginger, as you see here. rather than fresh ginger root. Ginger can be added to a lot of savory dishes, such as meats and vegetables in a stir fry, as well as fish and noodles.
Ginger can also taste good, kind of on the sweeter side, like there are ginger flavored candies. Ginger tea is very tasty and very healthy. It can help if you're having an upset belly. Ginger can calm that. I even have a recipe that has ginger and molasses in granola. Adds a very nice flavor.
Now moving away from spices and onto something called herbs. So herbs are plants. We're gonna show you some dried herbs. They give a dish good color and visual appeal. Buying these dry herbs are also cheaper than buying fresh, but you can usually find fresh herbs at the store for pretty cheap as well. So the first herb we're gonna talk about is dill weed. As you can see here, it's a little green flake. Dill is popular in dips, so ranch dressing, most ranch dressings have dill in it. You can also add dill to soups and salads for extra flavor, as well as fish and meat.
And you might recognize dill from dill pickles, and dill is the herb that gives pickles that dill flavor. Our next herb is oregano, which is especially good with Italian or Mediterranean food. Oregano is often found in pasta dishes, on pizza, added to soups or salad dressings. Oregano is great on vegetables and meats. I like to put oregano on my eggs or omelets.
The last herb we're gonna talk about is something called parsley. And parsley is a herb that goes on literally everything. It is a very decorative herb. It gives good visual appeal. It has a very mild flavor. It adds a nice flavor, but it's not too strong. And like I said, you can put parsley on everything, such as meats, fish, soups, pasta, vegetables. These tips and tricks today will help you to reduce your overall salt and sodium intake.
Thanks for watching today, and stay tuned for more helpful nutrition tips from the NEP team. Bye.
Thank you.